Many creators like myself make content while maintaining a full-time job. I'm a lawyer, which is often even more than a 40-hour work week, and I wanted to share 7 tips to make the content creation process easier while working a 9-to-5. That said, all the tips revolve around a central theme, and that's reducing friction points. Those are anything that slow down the process of creating and publishing your video. Tip number 1 is to minimize gear setup time on filming days. There's nothing worse than getting psyched up to film a video than literally spending an hour setting up the camera, the microphone, the lights, the background, etc. If you're anything like me, that means you then have to speed through the filming of your actual video because all your available time went to setting up the equipment. If you have the space, set up your gear way in advance of when you're going to film. Of course, the ultimate hack here would be if you had a dedicated studio that never changes, but most part-time creators don't have that luxury. I personally try to set up my equipment a day or two before filming, and that way when it's time to shoot the video, all I have to do is turn it on and press record. Along this line, there are a lot of videos out there showing how to create a YouTube studio on one single rolling stand. I've recently employed a hybrid version of this, and I can say it really helps. Tip number 2, batch film if possible. This isn't a terribly novel idea, so no need to spend a ton of time on it, but building off of reducing your setup time, if you can get multiple videos out of one setup, that can be a huge time saver. It also ensures you have some more videos in the can for when life inevitably gets in the way. Tip number 3, practice your script before filming. Most creators script what they're going to say to some degree, whether it be word for word or bullet points. Once I get a script written, I like to run through it multiple times out loud before filming day. That makes sure that it sounds natural and it's not full of tongue twisters, but more importantly, it makes me familiar with the material, so it cuts down on the filming time. It also cuts down on the editing time on the back end because I don't have to cut out as many bad takes. If you're enjoying this video, I'd truly appreciate if you hit the like button and consider subscribing, as it really helps grow the channel to more wonderful people. Tip number 4, schedule the recording of any talking portions when your space is quiet. If you're shooting any A-roll like this, where you're talking directly to camera, do your very best to schedule it when nobody else is home, or at least when nobody else is close by. You may not like this video as much if you heard my kids screaming in the background, and I might be more reserved if I knew somebody else was standing just on the other side of the door. Try to treat filming time as sacred if possible, and I think most family members or roommates would be respectful if you asked for a little bit of filming time while they were out of the house. Tip number 5, use a cloud-based app to keep track of your ideas. We all have phones, tablets, and computers literally within an arm's reach all day, every day. Use a cloud-based app that syncs across all your devices to keep track of your scripts and video ideas. This doesn't need to be fancy, it just needs to be reliable. Tip number 6, develop a process for thumbnails and editing. We all know that good thumbnails are crucial to getting views. It can be a huge time saver to develop a certain theme or style to your thumbnails to somewhat standardize things. This certainly isn't to say don't experiment, but having a starting point can be a huge help. And having a general editing process can save a lot of time, so you don't have to wing it with each video. Develop a system for how you organize your footage, as well as all the steps to the edit, like cutting out the bad takes, audio, and color corrections. And also have a bank going of all the common assets you use, like graphics and sound effects, so you don't have to hunt those down each time. Tip number 7, outsource editing if possible. It's no secret that editing a video can often take longer than all the other component parts added together. So if you A, have the financial means, and B, already have a pretty good baseline skill level of editing, outsourcing that editing can then open up a lot of free time. And if you have that time back, you can then spend more time creating content, which is really the key to growing your brand. You can look somewhere like Fiverr or Upwork, or just search video editors in your area. If you do hire an editor, it's probably best to work with the same person over a length of time. That way you can grow together and really nail down your style. If you got value from this video, you may want to consider one of my other videos to help in your content creation journey, and please consider subscribing.